Woohoo! What's up, gamers? It's your boy, Launchpad 1412. Excited to be back with some Madden 25 gameplay here. Got an online ranked match versus a random opponent. I have the Chicago Bears going against the Green Bay Packers. The division rivalry right here. But I'm not going to talk about the game, at least not until I finish talking about the two topics that I'm talking about in this video. Kevin Durant's speech and Donald Sterling, man. I'm going to get on Donald Sterling. Subscribe to me to talk about Donald Sterling. The Kevin Durant thing, I just kind of wanted to touch on it because I thought it was a great speech. It's actually, as funny as this might sound, and as much as I love the NBA, basketball, of course, but the NBA, I think that was the first time I actually heard an MVP speech. I'm not even going to lie. I think that's probably like the first time that I can recall that I heard the MVP speech. So, you know, that was pretty cool. That was pretty brilliant, man. But what he said, man, was very touching, funny. The thing I love the most is how he called out all of his teammates, man. Just my personal opinion. I love how he did that. I love how he told Serge Ibaka that he's not always right. You know, as a leader, you know, some of y'all listening to me, especially some of y'all younger kids, some of y'all going to grow up and y'all going to be leaders. Younger people are going to look up to you. Your peers are going to look up to you. You're going to have older people look at you as a leader because they see something in you that you might not even quite see in yourself. But just because you're a leader, that doesn't mean you're always right all the time. Trust me, I know. I tried that route. It doesn't work. I tried to act like I knew everything, and I tried to act like, you know, I made no mistakes. I was always right. And then my teammates, you know, they smacked me up a little bit, not literally, but they, you know, they got on me about it, and eventually I learned that, you know, sometimes I had to say it was my bad, even when it wasn't my bad. You know, sometimes I had to say it was my bad. I would throw a pass that, you know, got to a spot that my opponent should have been at, but they wasn't because they kind of slacked on the play. Every now and then, they would look at me, and I would point to myself like, man, that was my bad. Because that's what a leader does sometimes. You know, you have to know when to do stuff and when not to do stuff. And I think Kevin Durant did a good job in this video, especially with that part. I just really liked the part where he really shouted out his teammates, man. Now, one by one, you know, that was awesome. That was brilliant. Also, like how he said he had Russell Wilson's back. I remember the story about, well, not the story, but the story that he kind of told a little bit, a little short story that, you know, when him and his mom and his brother, they held each other in the middle of an apartment when they first got their apartment. In Prince George's County, I actually used to live in Prince George's County. Believe it or not, I actually used to live in Prince George's County, so it's nice to know that he's from there. But yeah, you know, they held each other in the middle of the apartment because they felt like they made it. You know, they felt like they had made it, and you know, that really touched me, man. That really touched me deep because I remember when me and my mom and my brother, when we didn't have much, I really remember that. I remember when we didn't have much. There was one point in my life where I was in a one-bedroom apartment with me and my mom, and my brother. No shower, roach infested, and it was on lean, and it was very small. It was small, man, and it was just, times was rough. I remember we didn't even have cable. I still remember that. But you know, me and my brother and my mom, we made the best of it. And eventually, you know, to this point right now, we're doing okay. We're doing all right, and we kept pushing, we kept striving for something greater. And now I live in a house. I'm very blessed to have a house. I have a car. I have a job, and I'm doing all right. You know, I'm doing really good. But man, that speech was outstanding, and I felt like it was just pivotal that I touched on it. I just wanted to touch on that speech because I just thought it was that great, and it just, you know, something that was very current. All right, now for the Donald Sterling thing, I think I told y'all this before. But I'm a type of guy. I wouldn't say I'm a goody two shoes. I wouldn't say that, but I believe in doing the right thing. And one of the things that I think I know I can't stand, that I despise, is racism, man. You know, I have white friends, Caucasian, whatever you want to call it. I have some Asian friends. I have some Latino friends. I got a lot of Spanish friends. I got all kinds of Spanish. I know all kinds of Spanish people I grew with, that I'm cool with. Some of them grew up around my neighborhood. Believe it or not, there's white people in the hood. It might sound crazy to some people, but there was white people in the ghetto when I was in the ghetto. You know, that knows about the ghetto. Believe it or not, I know some Caucasians that will get mad at someone from a different race calling a black person the N-word. They be almost ready to fight more than the black guy was sometimes. Even though that's not, it's not really that's not really cool. But I'm just trying to make a point here that the racism is just unnecessary. Someone asked me how I felt about it. Whenever racism comes up, no matter, not just because it's this situation down Sterling, it could be any situation. I don't care if the person's black, white, if someone's being black and they're racist, it's not necessary, man. It's just not necessary. Us as a people, us as a black people, we had some times. We had some really, really bad times. We went to slavery, riots, getting hosed down. I believe in the early 60s, I believe. All kinds of riots, man. Unnecessary riots. Martin Luther King, the nonviolent riot. You guys know what I'm talking about. But the thing of it is, you can't ask people to do good if you're not going to do good yourself. You can't. It's just, you can't do that. But the ultimate point that I'm trying to make here is that the racism it's got to stop. It's unnecessary, man. It's crazy. That stuff Don Sterling was saying on that answering machine or message or whatever it was just insane. It was just insane. I mean, it just didn't make any sense, man. I mean, it's just crazy. I just can't believe it's 2014 and people are still still being racist, and just, I'm not gonna say I can't believe it because I know it's real. I know it's real. I know it happens, but it's just wild, man. And what I think about what the commissioner did, I think the commissioner did what he pretty much had to do. I commend him for doing it. And I think he pretty much did what he had to do. I think he kind of was left with no choice. But this is not me, dissing what he did or giving him not giving him any. I'm not giving him any credit, if that makes sense. But I'm just saying that he did what he had to do, and I'm glad he did it. I'm not quite sure the results are going to be, because I don't think the results are still in full fold. But someone asked me, what to talk about the Don Sterling thing, and immediately when I heard it, I thought, my first thought was this: my despise for racism, and this how we need to stop. I'm not sure if I quite put that little spiel there together properly. I hope y'all understood ultimately what I'm trying to say. And what I'm trying to say is that we just need to cut out on the racism, man. It needs to stop. We are a human race. At the end of the day, we all got eyes, ears, nose, feet, just like everybody else. When you're talking about someone else and you're dissing someone else's mom, grandma, brother, sister, cousin, what if someone did that to your cousin, or talk down to your cousin, or hit on your cousin or one of your family members because they was a different skin color? You wouldn't want that. So you just got to think about that before you decide to start being racism. Especially kids around this area, they shouldn't even be. I don't know. I haven't heard no kids talking about it, but I mean, that shouldn't even be really even an issue for y'all. Well, this is your boy 1412. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, man. If you did, hit the like button. This is your boy 1412. I am out.